Welcome to Shamrock Reddit Stories, where a pregnant woman asks if she's the butthole for uninviting her mother to her baby shower. This one's from Throwaway 016399, and it's called, Am I the Butthole for Putting a Lock on My Stepson's Door? My wife and I have two kids, Jaden, a 9-year-old boy, and Amelia, a 4-year-old girl. But she also has a son from a previous relationship, Kian, a 17-year-old boy. Kian does not have a strict visiting schedule, but we see him most weekends. Both of our kids are obsessed with their big brother, especially Jaden. Kian has never been too fond of Jaden, and Jaden's obsession with him has only made it worse. It's hard for me because while I hate seeing my son feel rejected, I understand why Kian doesn't appreciate his behavior. Jaden is constantly glued to his side and will rush into Kian's room any hour of the day or night. Of course, we have tried to teach Jaden that if he wants Kian's attention, he has to knock on his door the same he would if it were our room, but he gets overly excited and forgets. Kian has become reluctant to bring friends or girlfriends over because Jaden never leaves them alone. He even has to barricade the door with his shoes if he's changing after a shower. He has also considered not spending the night here because Jaden will wake him early in the morning and insist they play outside. My wife and I continue to tell Jaden how inappropriate this is, but Jaden's room is downstairs and Kian is in the basement while my wife Amelia and I are upstairs, so we're not always aware of Jaden's intrusions. My wife thinks that this is mostly Kian's fault. He is a brilliant big brother to Amelia, but often pushes Jaden away and has never been very interested in him. So my wife thinks that if he makes more of an effort, Jaden would stop this. I, on the other hand, doubt that while Jaden is ignoring all of his boundaries, Kian will want to spend time with him. Recently, Kian helped me clear out the garage at my late father's house. While we were there, we spoke about the Jaden issue, and he told me that things would be so much easier if he had a lock on his door. I remember being a teenager and how important privacy was to me, so I agreed. I had to buy paintbrushes anyway, so while I was out I bought Kian a lock, which we installed on his door. That was over a week ago, but it was only last night that my wife realized that we had installed the lock when she saw Jaden throwing things at Kian's door and demanding to get in. She was furious that I was encouraging her son to lock us out of his life and said that it was a safety hazard. I thought this was the best solution until we can convince Jaden to behave more appropriately. I promise we have tried everything and we haven't given up. This is not a shortcut out of parenting Jaden, but it seemed like the only way to convince Kian to continue to visit regularly. Am I the butthole? And a commenter wrote, Not the butthole. Kian is 17 years old. He is allowed to set up that boundary, and Jaden has to learn to respect that boundary. This is not on Kian's shoulders. This one is from Cindy Lou Hume, and it's called, Am I the butthole for uninviting my mom to my baby shower? My mom, sister, and sister-in-law have all been planning and organizing my upcoming baby shower. Pretty much everything is done already, and I honestly could not be more grateful to have such a loving bunch in my life caring about me. But here's where things get complicated. So, Thursday night, my parents offered to treat my husband and me to dinner at a new restaurant that opened up in the area. Full disclosure, my husband was in a mood even before we left. I offered to reschedule, but he insisted that everything was fine and I was inventing an issue when there wasn't one. So we went. He and my mom both started drinking immediately. My mom's not a big drinker, so she was giddy by her second glass of wine, but she wasn't exactly drunk either. My husband was hitting the wine pretty hard too, but it didn't matter much because he wasn't driving. So why not? Anyway, fast forward to the end of the dinner, and my husband jokingly snaps at the waitress to come over to our table. I was mortified. I was a waitress once, and I know exactly how it feels to be treated that way. So, when she came over, I apologized and told her we'd be making it up in the tip. That's when the crap hit the fan. My husband flipped his lid and told me after she walked away that I'd embarrassed him and made a big deal out of nothing. He was getting loud, but I know him very well and know how to de-escalate his moods, which I was about to do when my mom stepped in and started yelling at him for yelling at me and treating the waitstaff badly. After that scene, what started out as a great night quickly turned into one of the worst. My dad had to usher my mom away and my husband stormed out. My dad was covering the bill, but I still left some money for the waitress, and that only pissed my husband off even more. The rest of the night was literally just one enormous argument about how my family and I humiliated him. The next day I tried to smooth things over because I'm just done with all the stress at this point. I probably would have made headway, but my mom had left him a voicemail cursing him out and telling him that he's a monster. Because of this, he tells me that he wants her out of the shower. I argued at first. She paid for so much of the shower, and I wanted her there. But at the same time, he has a point. This is his baby too, and if I told him I didn't want someone at the shower, I'd have that right. It really broke my heart to tell her that she couldn't be in it. And it was only made worse by my sister calling me up and telling me off for making our mom cry when she's done so much. Now she's saying she's not coming either, and it's a toss-up if my brother's coming too. My heart is shattered, but I can't shake this feeling like I don't really have the right to tell my husband that his feelings don't matter when it comes to our baby, and I don't want to shut him out. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Am I the butthole? OP, you wrote that you really don't have the right to tell your husband that his feelings don't matter when it comes to the baby. This has nothing to do with the baby and has everything to do with your abusive husband wanting to punish everyone who he feels has disrespected him at the restaurant, including you. How dare anyone call him out on his behavior? He'll make everyone pay, by God. Down in the comments, Turbulent Patient 3 writes, OP, you knew your husband was rude to the waitress and even felt you needed to tip her more. You said you were very grateful for your mom putting together a great shower. Your mom knew how rude your hubby was being, and quite frankly, she saw red flags and that's why she reacted. Very rarely should you support your mom over your hubby, but this feels like she is on your side even when you can't be on your own side. It's clear you both love each other. Your husband isn't worth tearing this relationship up. I predict you will have your mom in your life way longer than hubby. P.S. When you are pregnant is when men tend to show their true colors because you appear to be weak. Please pay careful attention to how they behave during this time, because that is when they reveal who they truly are. That's it for this one, folks. Until next time.